I want to talk to you about detaching from enablers. What do I mean by that? Well, by now you know from watching my videos that you need to detach from people's emotions, people's choices, people's feelings, people's opinions, people's anger toward you, people's blame, their accusations, and you need to detach from what other people basically are doing and feeling and choosing. Now, it gets a little sticky when you have somebody in your life that you see is enabling another person in your life that is making wrong choices. How do you detach from that? Because you can see that this person is doing what you know now you should not do. You should not enable somebody who is making wrong choices. You don't give them money to a drug addict or an alcoholic that they can go buy their drugs and their alcohol. You don't pay their bills that they're not paying because of their drug use. You don't make excuses for a child who refuses to get out of bed to go to school, and you don't lie to their boss when the boss calls and say that they're homesick when they're not. So you know that by now, I hope. But what do you do when somebody is actually enabling someone else? Well, I had this circumstance for a while, at different times, actually. My mother is a dear, sweet, kind, loving, hardworking woman. She loves the Lord. She tolerated my dad's drinking. She lived through her kids' problems, her grandkids' problems. She's now 95. She took care of my father with dementia until she was 94. He died just a little over a year ago, and she was absolutely refused to let him go. She cooked meals from scratch my whole life, and she still cooks meals from scratch. She's amazing. I can't think of anything negative about her except one. She enables. She has enabled at different times a child of mine. She has enabled grandkids, and she has enabled my siblings. And at times she enabled my father, even in his old age, by jumping whenever he would tell her to do something or would get upset. So I can see it. I don't like it, especially when it affected a child of mine that I was trying to set boundaries with, and my mom would undo them by letting the kid live there and giving the kid money when I didn't want the kid to have money, and not enforcing the boundaries that I thought that the adult kid needed to have. And other examples with family members and people. And let me tell you, I'm going to be really honest here. There were times that I got really mad at my sweet, wonderful elderly mom. There were times that I tried so hard to convince her, and I would finally like just get exasperated. There were times I tried to make her feel guilty. I would say to her, well, what happens if this kid dies and you've done this? Like, how are you going to feel? I was just like, you know, how we are very, like, just intent and intense about trying to talk the person that is doing something wrong out of it. Well, it's the same thing when you're dealing with an enabler. When you can see that, you can lose it and lose control and lose your emotional serenity and react in ways that you feel really bad about. I would feel very guilty about that when I would walk away and think, oh my gosh, I just got mad at my elderly mom, my sweet elderly mom. So I don't anymore. I haven't for a while because I accept the fact that she is doing and did the best that she could. She was, based on her life experiences and her circumstances, she is uncomfortable, so anxious saying no. Saying to no to someone is just something she's not used to. She sacrificed her whole life for other people, for our family. She just can't, and she's not going to change. So I have to accept that, and I have to do what's right for me with the person that she's enabling. And I also have to do what's right for her. When we see someone we love enabling someone we love, we have to react the same way towards the person that is enabling as we do toward the person they're enabling, because they're both doing the best they can, and they're both, you can't change them both. I'm going to take that back. They are doing the best they can, but that doesn't mean what they're doing is okay, especially the person that's making the really bad choices. But they are doing what they're capable of. And I and you are powerless over forcing them to change. We cannot make that person change. We can speak our truth in love. We can set our own boundaries, but as far as reacting out of the anxiety and the intensity of trying to force that person to change, we have to detach. We have to detach from the enabler and the person that they're enabling and recognize we can't control that person. We can only control ourselves. And we have to step back and put some distance, whether it's just emotionally, sometimes physically, definitely mentally. And we have to accept that we're powerless. We cannot change that person, and we are not responsible for changing that person, and we're not responsible for the outcome of that person's actions or the person that they're enabling. So I hope that this gives you an opportunity to kind of be clear about anyone in your life. Maybe it's your child enabling a grandkid. Maybe it's your mom enabling your dad, or your dad enabling your mom, or a parent enabling one of your siblings. I've had times when that has been the case too. So just, you're powerless. You got to detach. Detach means you separate yourself emotionally, mentally, physically, sometimes financially, spiritually, relationally, whatever you have to do to get that kind of step back and take a more objective view of the situation rather than reacting emotionally, and detach from that enabler and the person that they're enabling. So Galatians 6:1 says, brothers and sisters, if someone is caught in a sin, you who live by the Spirit should restore that person gently, gently, not harshly, not yelling at them, as I confess to, but gently. Restore that person gently. And that doesn't mean you can force them to be restored. It just means that you can speak truth, but watch yourself, or you may also be tempted. So you doing something wrong to try to get that person to do something right is not okay. Colossians 4:6 says, let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. So we're going to speak our truth in love with grace, with gentleness, and it is going to be seasoned with salt, answering that person in a way that is still respectful. So I hope that this helps you to think about how to detach from enablers. So please check out my classes. One of my 10 principles that I teach for people in dysfunctional relationships is detaching with love. Detaching with love, as I tell people in my classes, will set you free. And it is something that you can learn. God bless.